Boom! Pre-show on now. So
how's it going?
It's going pretty well. I just finished up my, I'm teaching my very first college course these days, and I just finished creating my first test for the first couple units in this music appreciation class.
Yeah.
So, did you ever take any music courses in your college?
I didn't. Not a one. I had fine arts, and then my career sort of went south on me for a little while, and I never got to run any sort of music classes.
Yeah. So, but that's what I've been doing most of this evening. I've also been thinking a lot about Wrestlemania I. When was the last time you watched Wrestlemania I?
Oh, it's been at least 4 years, I'd say.
I've never seen it before. But I remember reading, or maybe you told me, that it's totally different than any other WrestleMania.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got a lot more. It's not that big a deal. I mean, it is to them, but it was just like a house show, sort of, with guest stars and a bunch of matches. I didn't think it was that big a deal.
So you wouldn't put it down as one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time?
No, God, no. I mean, I believe one of the matches on it was like Tito Santana and like Mr. X or something like that. I mean, there was some real low end, there was some low end action on it. Everyone was there to see the main event. The rest of it, they had a lot of guest stars that were, I believe Billy Martin was there. He was a New York Yankees. I want to get off and get a manager. He was an interesting cat. And then Cyndi Lauper, I think, was at that one. And then Liberace, Muhammad Ali, the Rockettes were there. Remember them? Of course, Mr. T was there. The main event.
Who do you think has been, what wrestlers attended the most WrestleManias?
Taker.
The most?
Taker.
You think Taker? I don't think so. Boy, that's a tough question.
He's had the longest career.
Hulk Hogan was in a lot of them. Taker is probably up there though. Undertaker,
Because he's been at every WrestleMania since like the mid '90s, right?
Yeah. But Shawn Michaels was at a lot of those. But yeah, it might be Undertaker. Triple H, he's been at a ton of them. So he's another guy,
What do you think about Billy Corgan taking the lead over at TNA?
He looks like a bald 35-year-old baby. Doesn't he?
He's a lot older than 35 these days.
Remember the Cabbage Patch Kids? He reminds me of if one of those lost a little weight. That's what he looks like. He looks like a big Cabbage Patch Kid.
That's awesome. But you haven't heard about any moves he's making or anything?
I haven't watched TNA for a long time. Really, I don't watch a ton of wrestling anymore. I watch a few things on the network, and that's about it. I watch some UFC, and just been busy. I don't watch. When me and the girlfriend get together and watch something, we've been watching. This past couple weeks, we've been watching a show called Eastbound and Down, which I'd never seen before. It's sort of a comedy. We've been buzzing through that, and watching documentaries. I know this is so boring, but that's pretty much all out TV I get to watch. Every once in a while, I'll watch some wrestling. I watched some last night. I had enough time to sit and watch some. But
I thought we'd talk a little bit about role-playing tonight. You can tell me why you
What's the safety word, Boat?
I thought maybe you could tell me about your favorite system, your favorite role-playing system. The fans want to know.
Do they?
Yeah.
Hero 5th Edition is my favorite role-playing system, which is a Hero is a superhero role-playing game, which I love their system. It's kind of complex. A lot of your more simple-minded folk think it's too hard, but they're simple-minded. Their thoughts and opinions don't mean anything. I like the D20 system for D&D. I think it's good. I sort of like the Cthulhu system. I enjoyed that. I like old school D&D system. Let's say 1st edition, but a lot of people think that's too complicated. I think Vampire had a pretty decent system.
So what you're saying is you like all the systems?
Well, my favorite, you said my favorite, which is Hero 5th.
Okay.
Hero 5th Edition. I haven't played it for a long time, but I enjoyed it when we did play it. my favorite role playing game is still probably D&D. I like Champions an awful lot, but I really like me some D&D. I miss playing it quite a bit, and hopefully at some point in the future I'll be able to. Once maybe my kid's old enough and I can get him to play with me, and we can get a group together, that'll be kind of fun.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. You make any video game purchases this week?
I went to 2 video game stores this week, and I did not purchase anything. In fact, I did get my refund on that.
The
that
UFO?
Super Nintendo UFO. I got to do something with that money. But I almost bought the Genesis 6-in-1.
Mm-hmm. The
Sonic, Golden Axe.
Is this a cart or
it's
is
a
this,
card.
okay,
It's just an official card. It was an official release card.
columns in there too?
God, columns.
Seems
It probably would be.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think
Dale, do you remember what was in 6-in-1 on the Genesis? Yeah, it's not that important.
You said Sonic?
Sonic was in it. I was Sonic and Golden
Was it
Axe.
like an All-Star Sports or something?
I don't remember, but
Racing.
I still don't have a power supply for my X30, my 32X. I guess I have to order one. You know, so did you? I was mentioning this earlier. In fact, I probably mentioned this on the show, and I thought it'd be nice to mention. Did you listen to the newest Retro Asylum?
No, I haven't heard it.
Just came out, hot off the presses. I love that shit. I always listen to it pretty much right away. And at the end of it, I think it's press play on tape, and the fellow that does those CD32 videos that I really like.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's in Holland. Is that right? Anyway, they said some very kind things about our show.
Really?
Yes, they did.
Wow.
Which that's a pretty big plug for us.
Yeah, those guys are major league. For
And then
sure.
I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but the fellow from Retro Hour sent a very
Oh yeah, I'm going to talk
flattering
about that on the real show.
email.
I got that,
Gosh, what a nice guy.
Yeah, Ravi.
And I mean, he said things that I thought he must be drunk to send that to us. So he must have the wrong guys, you know. But man, I was surprised to get that kind of press, you know, in the span of a week.
Yeah.
You know, so that was great. I'm still flabbergasted that anyone's listening. So it's nice to have. Those are the big time players there.
Yeah.
And the 2 guys from Retro Asylum, I think you talked to Press Play on Tape about being on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I think they talked about maybe coming on together.
Oh, that would be great.
So boy, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? So
You know, Eep and I we're going to Europe next summer, so we might
Oh,
swing
yeah?
by.
you gonna be the
And,
Amiga representative.
I'm sure Eep would love to spend part of our vacation on a retro gaming podcast.
Do you know when you're going over?
It'll be some. I'm not yet, just in the summer.
I say.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say it'd be awesome if you could hit Revival or something while you're over
Yeah, the chances of that are probably slim with the wife in tow, but we want to see the sites for sure, and if we can meet up with somebody for drinks or whatever.
there. Has Eve seen the sights of Europe?
No, she's never been to Europe before.
Really? I was wondering if she'd been through there at all.
Yeah, she went to when she flew over here for the first time. She flew into London and then on to Boston, but she was just at the airport. And I haven't seen a lot of the sites. I've only been to England and Germany and France, so and the Czech Republic. But we're going to go to Norway. We're going to see. We'll probably meet up with old O'Brien's Retro and Vintage.
Outstanding.
And head on down to France. She's got a friend that married a guy from France, and so we'll see them.
If you get into O'Brien's, get some pictures of that joint.
Oh,
I love
definitely,
that.
definitely.
I'm dying to see what it looks like. I just my mind pictures just like
It's a wonderland.
yeah,
A fjordal wonderland.
yeah, fjordal. Is that what you said? Fjordal?
Fjordal.
Fjordal?
Yeah,
What does that mean?
Fjordal. You know the fjords.
I know the fjord. So fjordal.
Yeah.
He's in the fjords.
He's in the fjords.
Oh, okay.
He might have created the fjords.
F's and J's really don't need to be near each other in the alphabet.
You can talk to. There's a lot of things in Norwegian that seem odd to our eyes when we see it spelled
Well, I
out.
figured they probably think we're pretty odd too.
That's true, without a doubt.
But what did you do this week? Anything aside from your class?
I've been getting into vintage watches. So, I as far as watches go, I pretty much always wear my Pebble because my phone will buzz and I never hear it, and this tells me. But for some reason, I've just been looking at old Omegas, old Rolexes, and thinking, boy, because like you look at the new ones, and the new ones are $8,000, $9,000, $10,000, and you can get an old one for like $4,000 or $5,000. They're practically giving them away. But then
$5,000?
Yeah, but then I think $4,000 or $5,000 is not really practically giving them away.
No.
And so, but I spent a large majority of my time this week just looking at pictures of old watches on the Watch You Seek public forum.
When is the watch podcast going to be making its debut?
I don't know. I don't even begin.
You can
to know
start it up
anything
like
about
60
it.
minutes.
Yeah, that would be great.
I'm both.
I do it just for the intro. But I have to buy my first vintage watch before we start a podcast.
What you should do is start your watch podcast, and what you do is you call it "Watch This," but it's audio only.
Oh,
Get
yeah.
it?
Oh yeah.
There's your hook.
There's the hook right there. You have any old watches at home? Any inherited family heirlooms or anything you and Tree picked up at a antique store?
You know, my dad has a bunch of those crazy watches from the early '80s with calculators on them.
Oh yeah.
I remember getting one of those for Christmas, and I laughed heartily at this, and I was like, I'm not wearing that. It's weird looking and huge, and my dad's like, I'll take that, you know. So Dad has these massive calculator watches. He's got I think he's still wearing one.
You know, those
actually.
go for money these days. They're collector's items. Any of those old ones, especially the ones that have the stylus that go with them, and you because the buttons are so small.
They are tiny, small.
Yeah. You don't really wear a watch too often.
I don't wear a watch, and I don't often wear jewelry. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like I look at jewelry or a watch on me. It's the old lipstick on a pig. I mean, it's you could cover me in gold. I'm still gonna be a big kind of a dopey, doopusy type. So nothing can do about it. So.
I did watch my very first Three Stooges short. Last
Really?
week. Yeah.
What prompted this?
Flack sent me a top 10 Three Stooges list.
Uh-huh.
And I watched the first one on the list.
What was it?
I think it was
and
called...
I'll see if I disagree.
It was, well, these weren't ranked in
Oh,
order.
okay.
They were just like, he thinks his you know, the ones I should watch. It's called The Bride Without a Bridegroom, or the... You know what I'm talking about? It's the one where Shemp, maybe... his uncle leaves him money, but he has to be married. He has to find a girl.
Yeah, I remember that one.
It's got a piano teacher. He is the piano teacher.
Yeah.
Does
his list include the football one?
I don't know. I can pull it up real quick.
The football one is one of my personal favorites of the Stooge era. Of course, they're pretty much they're all pretty good, and they're all pretty similar, I guess, in a way. Did you listen to Flack's new show about the year 2K?
Yeah. Do you remember going through any of that stuff in your tech?
I laughed heartily because he's got the intro that's Leonard Nimoy talking about all the stuff that's going to go wrong in the year 2000. I've got that tape.
Oh really?
Oh yeah. I actually was.
Were you on board with the Y2K?
Absolutely. I think, and I don't know if Flack may disagree with this, but I think that easily could have been a disaster. And the reason I say that is, I knew a lot of computers that were in service were incredibly old. And I mean, and I'll tell you, after working at the computer store for so many years, I would really be scared now because I'm talking. I work for when I worked at the computer place, I used to work on all kinds of cities computers, computers for water plants, stuff like that. And these computers are ancient. They're all running DOS, and they're all like 2 or 386s. I mean, these things are old computers, and you never know about those old machines. You know, it's now. I'm not saying that it's going to make the world explode, but I foresaw a lot more problems than what we.
I can't believe you foresaw problems in the future.
I absolutely did. I thought, oh boy, and if I'd had the money, I know Flack mocked those poor suckers that bought all the barrels of water and the
That would have been you.
I would have. In fact, if I had the money, I'd do it right now. The world's going into crapper. You never know, man.
You never know.
I'll tell you, we lost power in Hurricane for 3 days. And I watched people fight over gas in a line right down the road here. And it'd been off for like 24 hours, The stores were empty. People were running. It was a mad dash,
Mm-hmm.
And so if something really bad goes down, I don't know about the rest of the countries on Earth. This country's screwed. We are screwed. There's going to be social chaos.
Yeah. Well, I figure I'll probably die pretty soon after everything goes away, so I don't worry about it. These are the list. Brideless Groom.
All right.
That was the one. There is Sing a Song of Sixpence.
Okay. Is that with the Taylors?
I don't know. I've not watched it.
All right.
Malice in the Palace.
That's a good one.
Okay. Punch Drunks.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Is that the one that's the one that the?
I think yes, the game. Yeah.
The Three Little Pigskins.
That's
the football one.
This is a good list.
Okay. Men in Black.
I don't remember that one.
But what he did is he gave me 3 shimp, 3 curly, and a bonus. So the last curly one is Men in Black. And then there is a bonus one, You Nazi Spy. And it was controversial because it contains a lot of Hitler jokes.
Yes, I think Mo was Hitler in that one.
And Spooks was one of the 2 3D shorts the Stooges did. And then there was Hoofs and Goofs and Sappy Bullfighters.
All right, I don't remember Hoofs and Goofs. I remember the bullfighting one. That's a good list.
So yeah,
if he knows his stuff, I'll give him credit.
I'll work my way through it.
He's ahead of me. I wish I haven't watched the Stooges too much here recently, but I should get back into them. They're always good for it. They always make you feel better.
Yeah, that's.
You're not getting pounded on.
So you got to talk about why you got your buddies here in town this weekend.
Oh yeah, we're having our. How many years we've been doing the league now, Dale? Gosh, it's been at least. Yeah, and I was in a league before this one, when this one started. So I've probably been playing fantasy football for about 12 years. American fantasy football. I think they've got fantasy.
Oh, I'm sure they have fantasy
football.
Yep.
Which I can't imagine how boring that is. Holy smokes! No offense. Gee, many Christmas, man. But can you imagine? And all the players, all the leagues. There are so many leagues.
Mm-hmm. Well, they probably restrict it to one league.
I was talking to me and my partner at work were talking about soccer this week, and because we were talking about for some reason Manchester United came up, right?
Mm-hmm. The one soccer team you can name as per
Arsenal. Anyway, so I was like, yeah, I think they're in a league, but then there's a bunch of other leagues, so we got to look at the leagues. And now you tell me if this is right. He said that. There are like real flunky leagues, the flunkiest league.
Right.
And if you finish in the top couple teams in the flunky league, you can actually move up to a better league and steal some other jerk's spot.
That's right.
And then they go to the flunky league.
That's what relegation is. So every year they have a reshuffle. And different teams there's the Premier League, which is at the top, all the way down to the Flunky League.
I think what I would like to do is, are any teams that are perennially in the loserous league?
Oh, sure. There's tons of them.
I would like to watch those games. I would like to, because I bet those are a lot more high scoring and fun, because they stink.
Well, and the thing is, too, the system is exciting, too, because you never know. Like, could you imagine if, the West Virginia Power baseball team became a Major League Baseball team?
No, I can't imagine
I can't imagine that either. But it happens in soccer.
Can you imagine the amount of money they lose because their stadium seats like 3,000 people?
That's true.
They're taking on the Phillies or the New York Yankees.
Does their salary go down?
Yeah.
In this country, people riot, after a big win or after a big loss.
I wouldn't call it a riot.
You don't think people burning mattresses in the streets of Morgantown is a riot?
Well, you said big wins, and we haven't had a big win for many years.
So in England, people riot when their team is relegated, when they get knocked down. So like when I was in Sheffield's football team, they were relegated. They got knocked down to the league below, and people went nuts and burning cars.
Isn't relegated a fancy word for saying you suck?
Yeah, because you're no longer in the league that you were.
So they went from a decent league to crap league.
Right.
How long? Now you just done it for 1 year?
Well, every year they redo the tables. And,
I see.
Yeah.
How long does it take you to get to the big leagues? How many leagues are there? Like hundreds?
Can it
take you forever?
I don't think there's hundreds. I think every country has its own set of leagues. Or maybe it's a region. Because I know, in Germany, they have the Bundesliga, and in Spain they have No, what is it called in Spain? Not Real España. That's a team, but they've got one in Spain too, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's in there. Check this out. There's a cup, I think it's called the FA Cup every year, where all of the teams get to enter this tournament. So the the flunky teams and the best teams, they all enter this bracketed tournament. So that's kind of cool too, because you never know how far your little
What do you get if you
team.
win?
I think you get a cup.
Do you get instant access to a better league?
That is a great question that I bet some
that
of
would
our
be
listeners
awesome.
can answer.
I do kind of. Now let me ask you a question. What is I don't know how your soccer knowledge isn't huge.
Limited.
Who's the flunkiest perennial losers?
That's a great question. Dreamcatcher, if you're watching this, any of our other British or European, which is all of you, listeners.
No, not everybody. New Zealand, Australia.
Yeah. Non-Americans that know anything about
You guys know anything about soccer?
No.
No, okay, thank you. Y'all are from around here, aren't you? Yeah.
So, if you know, who is the perennial loser team in the Flunky League?
I bet it's like Crete or.
Well, I know like Sheffield, they have a team called the Sheffield Wednesdays, and I don't think they're very good.
Why are they called that?
Because I think they only practiced on Wednesdays or something. There was some crazy story about
how they
got there.
Is there a team called the Pugsleys?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. But anyway, I guess we should probably end now. I feel like we've informed our audience enough about football.
All right.
So stay tuned for the real show, guys.
But suddenly, over the span of 10 years, you get awesome. Like, you're a crappy little team with a crud stadium. You're playing like Manchester United's coming to town. And that doesn't make any financial sense, does it? Does every team have a massive stadium, just huge?
Do they do like home and away, or is it just at the biggest stadium?
I think that most teams have a pretty big stadium. I don't think every stadium is like Old Trafford, which is like 100,000 people or whatever. But I think most teams have a pretty big stadium, like Marshall or something like that. Here.
Okay.
Like college size.
So yeah.
Gotcha.
And but yeah, that's a great question about the salary.
Do they do a home and away thing then?
They do.
They do? Okay.
They play each team twice, and I only know that because in Columbus we've got Columbus Crew, and they actually Manchester United.
I was going to say, don't some of the
town.
teams come over sometimes and play exhibition?
You had some big names come through.
They had Manchester United and
just recently.
God,
Chelsea, Liverpool.
They had two huge teams in, and people were a little upset because they brought like two of their stars played, and the rest were all their string.
Right.
Yeah, like some of them didn't even make the trip.
But it was
so you don't get to see the big star power.
Yeah.
But it was still. They said the soccer game was still awesome.
Sure.
You know, compared to what we're getting in the MLS.
Sure.
But,
yeah.
But you see that being more like an exhibition versus a county. Because otherwise it's just I'm padding our record by playing teams that are nowhere near competitive.
Yeah, this was simply they got a paycheck to send their teams here.
Yeah. Well, it would be interesting to see. I mean, of course, it would be the NFL Europe isn't around anymore, but there's NFL games that get played in London.
They're trying to spread over there.
Yeah, and there's even a rumor that Jacksonville is going to move to London.
Well, just they can't keep the stadium full
because the Miami sports just are terrible. And
there's so many things to do.
Attendance-wise, they're just because the Marlins are the same thing. And but if they moved it to London, the flight wouldn't actually be that much longer from London to New York versus
coast to coast.
Yeah.
But and what they were doing was they're saying when you go play in London, so they'd fly the team over there. The week back would be your bye week. So
right.
You play, you get your bye week, and
so you'd have a chance to kind of get back to it because they did like Sports Science did episodes on. It's easier to travel east to west than west to east, just based on the biorhythms and when your body is in tune to be active or not active, and that it's a physiological thing that's scientifically proven.
Yeah, I think it would be cool.
That's a lot deeper than I thought I would ever.
This is This is too much talk of soccer.
No, we're talking about football now.
Oh, okay, sorry. I was zoning out for a minute.
No, you ruined it, but I slowly turned it back to football.
You were turning it back in?
Yeah,
never turned it there.
So who's the big star you're going to try and get on the thing, on the draft tomorrow? Oh, you can't talk about it yet, right?
He's picking 12th. So.
Hey man, I'm hoping Roger Staubach's up there. I'm going to grab it.
Bart Starr?
Are you Bart
Starr? You go 12 because he picks twice. So he's going to get Tony Romo and then Prescott. Just in case.
Didn't you see Tony Romo get? I haven't watched nothing, but I saw him get pummeled the other day.
It wasn't so much a pummel. He was doing the right thing to slide.
Yeah, he's gonna get murdered
he went to slide,
this
but the
year.
guy was behind him, so it just bent him a little further.
He better hope
faster than he thought.
He better hope that rookie comes in and like goes bananas. Otherwise, it's gonna be a triple pile drivers for him. Shattered machines over and over.
Yeah.
What are the early scouting reports for the Cowboys? Undefeated season?
The early scouting reports, you could just copy and paste from last year. Another pummeling, God only knows.
No, I don't
hey,
think so.
You don't live in Brownsville, in Columbus, where they constantly are telling me the Browns are going to be better than everybody thinks. The Browns are going to be awful. Well, yeah, but they're going to be better.
Yeah.
Better than what?
Better than
if you lose all your games, you get a good pick. You're going to fail at losing, guys.
Yeah.
That's the Browns.
Yeah, they've not been good. But then again, you never know. This could be their year. Hey, the Seahawks were dreadful for decades, and they had years. So.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true. All right, well, I went ahead and started recording again on the pre-show, so that'll be pre-show part 2. But now we really got to start the show.